back to one of our top stories. That's the interview of Justice Mandisa for the job of Deputy Chief Justice. She's currently the head of the Supreme Court of Appeal in Bloemfontein. She's spoken today once more about the role of women in the judiciary, saying that at the moment she's the only woman who's a head of a court in South Africa, and that needs improvement. The JSC needs to commit to making sure that there is gender transformation in the judiciary. She's also spoken about the need to write more judgments in South African indigenous languages in order to make justice accessible to all. Let's speak more about this with Advocate Paul Hoffman from Accountability Now. He's director there. Advocate, always good to speak to you. Welcome to Daytime Update. So Justice Maya is the only candidate being interviewed for this post. How significant then is the interview?
Well, the Judicial Service Commission is nevertheless obliged to ensure that the candidate measures up to the criteria set in the Constitution, which is a fit and proper, suitably qualified person, and that considerations of race and gender on the bench should be taken into account as well. So I think that on this occasion, in the sense that there is no competition going on, the task of the Judicial Service Commission is to zero in on the track record of the President of the Supreme Court of Appeal, with a view to seeing whether there are any chinks in her armor or any defects in her suitability. And I presume, I haven't been following the interviews because of other commitments, but I presume that the questioning is directed in that way.
There was a feeling when President Ramaphosa chose or appointed the current Chief Justice, Raymond Zondo, to become Chief Justice, that he'd missed out on an opportunity to not only appoint a suitable candidate, but also make a historic appointment in appointing the first woman to lead this country's judiciary. Is this an opportunity, you think, to right that wrong?
Yes, well, look, unless there is some disaster which is unforeseeable, it is most probable that Judge Maya will become the Deputy Chief Justice. And as we all know, the current Chief Justice is nearing his retirement age, and he's obliged to retire, I think, in about 2 years and a couple of months. And when that happens, it will be up to her to decide whether she has enjoyed her time as Deputy Chief Justice and would like to put her hat in the ring for the vacancy for Chief Justice. And the opportunity that was passed over in the last round of interviews for Chief Justice could then be put right, and she will also have the benefit of over 2 years' experience in the role of Deputy Chief Justice. So it's probably sound human resource management to do it the way that the President has chosen to do it, rather than to appoint Maya ahead of Zondo.
And as I was saying, coming into our conversation, Advocate Hoffman, President Mandisa in the interview today basically said that when you look at the gender diversity of the heads of the country's courts at the moment, she's the only woman who's head of a court, the Supreme Court of Appeal, I beg your pardon, in Bloemfontein. Now, how is it that a judiciary in a country such as ours that has always said for the last 2 decades plus that it takes gender transformation and transformation as far as race is concerned seriously, that is still the situation?
Yes, well, the Constitution says simply take those factors of race and gender into account when you are appointing fit and proper persons for the important work of the judiciary. In the Cape, we have a deputy judge president who is a woman, and many women have served with distinction in the judiciary. But 30 years ago, the judiciary was all pale and all male. So huge strides have been made to correct that. And you can't make bricks without straw. If not sufficient women are coming forward for a job in the judiciary, then the pool of candidates is by definition smaller.
But the women